All right, welcome back, everyone, to your favorite program you never watch the full thing of, probably. I don't know. Some people, the loyal fans, diehards, every
People are
second.
giving me feedback, so it's not good, but they're giving me feedback.
What is it?
Mostly they think you're worse than Mike Wright, is what I've heard so far.
That's fine. That's fine. I'm all about it. I'm all about it. I love the hate. But want to start a tradition with those that are watching. If you're watching in a way that you can do this, I think everybody should have a drink with us. Where's the camera? There we go. Have a drink with us to start off the show. All right, Chewy, cheers to you,
Cheers, Carver.
and cheers to all the people at home.
Harris, you owe us one.
Oh, speaking of Matt Harris, he is with his lovely bride celebrating their anniversary tonight, so he's not going to be with us.
Yep.
But without further ado, I think the bet overlord has some things to say to you all, and you better be ready.
Yep. Not many bets to talk about. I think our last video was about our draft choices and stuff, so there's no bets in the meantime that really mattered. Card bets, that's where it's at right now, guys. We need card bets. I have 3 full submissions out of 12 people. I could read you what we have so far. That might be a little fun. One of the 3 submissions was all nice things, by the way. So maybe that was Richie or Andy. I don't know. Somebody mentioned that last year. So the 3 nice ones are hydrate, chug 12 ounces of water. Send a message in the group chat about someone in the league you appreciate and why, and create a haiku praising who won your bet and perform it for the group.
Is haiku 757?
I believe so. I would Google that before you write it, because if you get it wrong, we will make you do it again.
Nice.
Just like B's strikeout.
I know that you are the bet overlord, but I kind of feel like the foreskins, the so-called people that run the league, have done a terrible job at prompting people to get the card bets in and persuading people to be engaged. So I think that they need to step the game up and get people to put those card bet submissions in.
Yeah, I mean, considering as of recording this, the season starts in 2 days. Like, this is Tuesday for us. I mean, most people are probably watching this on Wednesday or Thursday. So football is here. Like, we got a couple week bets. That's nice. I mean, we got 2 season-long weekly bets already between Gary and Harris, which is a 2 QB combined bet every week, confirmed for the rest of the season. And then Spear, Bill, and Gary are in the Tiger Beat, which is the 3 main receivers for Cincy every week. So we got that at least going. But we need card bets. I've copied a few from last year. Some people have resubmitted the ones they liked from last year too. Like, I think Matt did, or Harris, I should say, did his food challenge one again, which is, you know, go to a restaurant that has a food challenge, either eating a shit ton of food or something spicy.
And that'd be great.
Yeah. So we've got a few good ones, just so people can know the ones I've gotten so far. I'm just going to read them real quick again, because they're the entertaining part of this league. Yours is the pay and caddy a round of golf for the winner, $40 to $50 range. Special K submitted sell your plasma and use the money to buy the winner lunch. I wrote it in that way. It's got to be plasma. I don't care if you actually sell it, and you have to buy somebody lunch. That's really what it is. I tried to get him to go to donate blood in lunch, because I have a feeling this league has some questionable people in it. Surprisingly, I would think Special K might be one of these that might not actually be able to donate blood or plasma.
I have no idea what it takes to donate plasma. That's no idea.
Yeah. That's my concern with that one, is that plasma. I get that plasma, the act of doing it, is much longer and more of a hassle than donating blood. So that's the point of that card, is that Chris just knows it's a pain in the ass.
Okay.
Instead of just the simple, like donating regular blood is not a big deal.
No.
Plasma, I think plasma is like a 2-hour process or something ridiculous. Bill submitted, stay in a Waffle House for 12 hours. For each waffle you eat, take 1 hour off the time you have to stay.
I believe Bill listens to the fantasy footballers, or at least the spitballers portion of their thing, because that was a very similar thing I remember them talking about. So
Yeah.
good on you, Bill.
Yeah, because I think somebody else had mentioned that usually it's 24 hours, but I don't know that anybody's got that kind of time, because Waffle House is open 24 hours.
Right.
12 for this league seems rather fair, because should be able to eat at least half that amount of time in the waffles. Loser of the bet must, by the Super Bowl, go to a karaoke bar and sing any one of 3 songs picked by the winner. Film upload obviously required.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a
Yeah,
good one. I
well,
like
that's
that.
a Gary. I think the next 3 are Gary ones. So that was Gary, and the next 2. Within 2 weeks of the card bet result, the loser must eat both a death nut and a toxic waste sour candy at the same time. While they are both in your mouth, you must recite the locker room speech that Pacino gives from Any Given Sunday in his voice in its entirety.
Gary submitted that.
Gary submitted that. Pretty sure.
Okay.
The fun thing with that is that there are 5 different levels of Death Nut. So I would assume people might just choose the weakest one, which don't remember causing Chris too much trouble. It wasn't until like 2 or 3 where it really added up, but oh well. Loser must host a game night virtual for the league before the Super Bowl. While there, anytime anyone says the loser's name, the loser must drink.
Oh, that's
Oh yeah, that might be death, but we'll see what happens.
yeah.
There might have to be a limit on that, or just make sure you are drinking some weak ass alcohol.
All
Or
right.
do it through Zoom and mute everybody.
Yeah.
So, do a restaurant food challenge, spicy or quantity. Get smacked in the face with a flour tortilla whilst chugging alcoholic beverage of your choice. Hot wax or wax strips both of your legs, no shaving. Shaving results in forfeit of the card, and 2 new cards will be given along with a chug and shot penalty. So last year's sort of failed wax your chest one has been moved down to your legs, and it's both legs, because apparently everybody has hairy legs. And if you don't, you get extra double card punishment.
All
And then
right.
I've had the 3 nice ones, and then I've added, in a single bite, stick a teaspoon or more amount of wasabi in your mouth and eat it, because I try to do one of those terrible eat things. I've done the kale 2 years ago, and last year was the horseradish that made Bill throw up. So
Ooh, what about the cinnamon challenge?
I mean, we could,
That one sucks.
yeah. Be smart enough not to choke to death, please.
Ooh, I almost did.
So those are the card bets. Guys, season starts in 2 weeks. We need more card bets. We need more bets. You should be betting by now.
Yeah, not 2 weeks, 2 days.
2 days. Yes, sorry.
No problem.
That's
I'm
it for bets.
gonna go back to a comment you made about people talking to you, making comments about things regarding this program.
Uh-huh.
Why don't you tell those people to stop being such bitches and talking to you behind the scenes? There's a comment section. Yell at us in the comments. Come at us in the comments. Come at me in the comments.
Or
Scare
at least the
little bitches.
WhatsApp.
Yeah. We're up here talking shit about you guys. Talk shit about us. That's the fun of this.
Right.
But all right, we're gonna recap the stuff that's happened since the draft. There have been some ads and some drops. Bill was the first person to make a roster move, add Jameis Winston to his team. Then Corey thought it would be a good idea to add Gus Edwards for some reason. And he also wanted the Bengals defense. I'm not sure that they're supposed to be a great defense this year, but we'll go for it. I moved Deshaun Watson into the IR so I could pick up my kicker for the year. Corey smartened up a little bit and dropped Gus Edwards because not even close to playing. In what, in my opinion, is probably the best pickup of the offseason. Special K picks up Jeff Wilson, backup running back for San Francisco, drops his kicker, and then then added his kicker. So maybe I was wrong. Maybe he did that on accident, and I gave him too much credit. Bill dropped Christian Watson because Christian Watson hasn't even played in the preseason and is going to be a complete bust. Corey picks up Jalen Warren, dropping Brian Robinson because Brian Robinson got himself shot.
Yeah, but the other one there is if he just waited, he could have put him on the pup eventually. Like they put him on some injury thing. Like
Yeah,
he did it so early, it wasn't a rush.
yeah, but I mean, he really needed to get the Steelers backup running back for some reason, or maybe not immediate backup, but one of the backups. Very important.
Okay.
Bill picks up Denver's defense, dropping Tampa Bay's defense, much to the chagrin of Corey, who realizes that Denver's defense is probably going to stomp his Seahawks because Seahawks are going to go 0-16, 0-17 this year. Pretty sure. Bill, making all the moves, adds Kenyon Drake to his team and drops Trey McBride. Richie dropped quarterback Aaron Rodgers, two-time defending MVP, and picks up kicker Dustin Hopkins. Pretty sure that's just a sad state of affairs for Aaron Rodgers. I finally saw the light, and by that I mean realized I can't keep Deshaun Watson in my IR, so dropped him. And Corey apparently made up a new word in his comments about that. You wisely picked up Brian Robinson and put him quickly into your IR spot, stashing him for later on this year, possibly next year. Bill picks up Aaron Rodgers and drops the first player added in waivers in Jameis Winston. Special K, I believe, is listening to our show and dropped Gerald Everett after we all panned Gerald Everett as being complete trash and never doing anything good anywhere he is. Gary dropped Derek Carr to pick up Mecole Hardman, who has proven over the last 3 years in the league that he should be dropped and not rostered by anybody also. So, Gary, just go ahead and drop Mecole Hardman. We all know it's going to happen eventually. Chewy, pretty sure you did this after you put Brian Robinson on your IR, but picked up Matt Prater, your kicker. Another really smart move, in my opinion. Brian Spear, obviously seeing the light that Mike Gesicki is just hot garbage, trash of a player, drops him, picks up Sony Michel, who looks like he's now the backup running back in Los Angeles for the Chargers. Very smart pickup by Spear, in my opinion. Richie drops Tyrion Davis-Price to get a defense, and then Corey adds Tyrion Davis-Price and drops the darling for 2 or 3 weeks, Isaiah Pacheco. Looks like his star has fallen back to earth. And lastly, Corey dropped one of his rookie running backs that he drafted, Rachaad White, to pick up a kicker in Brandon McManus. So that is the recap of the ad drops so far. Drew, you got any opinions on any of those? Anything sticks out to you?
I just like the fun of the drop ads of so many rookies where they're like, they were drafted or they were picked up and then redropped. Like, just kind of like, well, if you're not going to hold on to them to see if they do anything, why did you draft them in the first place?
Hey, draft day jitters and rookie fever and all that good stuff. But we are going to move right into what became a great segment for us last season, and that is where we pick who we believe will win their matchups each week. Want to confirm same as last
Okay.
year. The two losers buy the winner bottle of alcohol each, under $50. Sound good?
Sounds good to me. I'm sure Matt's probably on board.
All right. We're gonna jump right into the first match that at least it's the first match on my area, but that would be myself and Brashawn. Why don't you talk about why you picked what you picked? Tell us who Harris picked, and then I will give my 2 cents.
All right. So I have a feeling I know who you picked, which makes this a real interesting start because both Harris and I picked you to win it.
Even though Sleeper has Brashawn with the slight edge, you still picked me?
Yep. And so interestingly, in the sheet that I'm tracking, I have also I just put it as PW, as predicted winner. So
Okay.
that in the end of the season, also just weekly, we can see who is picking, the predicted guy more or less,
Oh, I
just to
like
see
that.
if there's an income, because it's just kind of funny to me. Like I know in a minute we'll talk about another matchup that I don't feel great about because it involves me and me being predicted to be the lowest scorer of the week. It's not great. But yeah, so I picked you. I forget exactly why, this year, because it's just right in your face. Like I actually went through the team. Since we've got the bet on the line, I think there's a little more trying. And I just liked who your team was playing more than, like, your players more than his.
Yeah, I think that all of our players match up across the board pretty evenly. If I'm just taking the predicted scores out of it and just looking across line by line at the players, I think everything matches up pretty evenly until you look at our running backs, and he's got Melvin Gordon, Raheem Mostert, and I've got DeAndre Swift and Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah,
So I think that that's the two, those right there. Like I said, everything else I think matches up pretty evenly, but I think in the running back situation, is what's gonna bring it home for me. So I choose myself.
yeah, that's kind of what I think mine was based off, because the two running backs make a big difference there.
Yeah.
All right, so what's the next game you have listed?
We're gonna go with Gary versus Andy Brooks.
Oh, and you of course took yourself, right?
I took myself, yeah.
All right, so yeah, Gary versus Andy Brooks. Actually, why don't you go first on this one?
All right. So I actually don't mind Andy's team too much at all. And again, going line by line, I thought that sometimes Andy had the favorite, sometimes Gary was in his favor, but getting down towards the bottom, I just with Miles Sanders in the flex for Andy, who honestly might not even play, and then the Rams is the defense going against Buffalo. I think that those two are pretty rough for Andy Brooks. And I just think that Gary's team it's not great, but I think that he's going to have enough to get by Andy this week.
Right. I mean, Gary is projected to win by 3 points, or just under 3 points.
Yeah, I think it should be close, but that the Rams going against Buffalo and Miles Sanders, it might not even play, so who knows. Andy, also want to point out you have Marlon Mack on your team, who currently isn't on a team. So he's on your team, but he doesn't actually play football for an NFL team. So
I like that Sleeper doesn't seem to know what to do with a free agent, and just wrote it off as he's on a bye week.
yeah, here's a bye week.
permanent bye week. So the reason I had you go first was Matt and I also agreed with each other and now we all agree. So far, this is a very boring show because we've all chosen the same teams to win. So we all chose Gary and we've all chose you.
Well, like you said, last year, you guys really weren't even trying too hard in the beginning, and now you're actually trying to pick the winners. So
I was doing fairly well last year before we made the bet.
that's true. That's true. All right. Do you have anything else to add on that game, on that one?
No, not really. It's pretty straightforward.
Okay. So next on my list is Corey versus Spear.
Correct. So we do have a difference here. So Harris took Spear.
Uh-huh.
Of course, we don't have Harris, and he didn't tell us why he chose anybody, so we don't care. I chose Corey. So we are splitting the teams here. The point differential for Corey is the favorite by a whole, like less than a point. So it is really even. I think Spear has the better running backs, which is sad to say when one of those is Josh Jacobs, but it's going against Mike Davis. So, I mean, Mike Davis could be if Dobbins isn't really ready to play. Spear, I can see why more people probably pick Spear, but I think some of the point projections for Corey's team are a little lower than I expect, and so I'm thinking Corey might actually pull this off.
Yeah, I mean, it's really close. Like you said, less than a point in the projections. The ones that did it for me, again, going back down, Spear has Dallas playing Tampa Bay, which I think is going to be rough on Dallas. Spear's kicker, Buffalo's defense is supposed to be really good. Spear's kicker is playing for the Rams, who plays Buffalo. Don't know how well that's going to do for him. Josh Jacobs, blah. No, he's just trash can. But the thing that really did it for me, like I said, everything's really close, but Corey is starting Mike Davis right now. I don't believe Corey starts Mike Davis in week 1. I believe he finds a different guy to put in that spot, and that is actually the change that will push him over the top. Who knows? He might start Mike Davis. I just don't think he's actually going to once Sunday rolls around. And I think the guy he puts in there is going to give him the edge. So I choose Corey to win.
Well, I mean, if that's okay, I'm gonna write it in. But if your reasoning is who he has on his team, so I don't know who you magically pick off waivers. He has Daryl Henderson, could be a solid start.
That's who I think he'll put in, honestly.
Okay. I mean, he's projected to do worse than Mike Davis, and so I don't know if he set his lineup and he did it based off of the projection, or if that's his gut instinct of he prefers one to the other.
Well, I know he drafted Mike Davis specifically for week 1.
Right.
But the Ravens just went inside Kenyon Drake. So Mike Davis doesn't have that week 1 workhorse role anymore, probably. So I don't know. I just have a feeling that situation is going to change. And I think that whoever he puts in instead of Mike Davis is going to do better. But so regardless, I choose Corey.
All right. Well, we'll have to watch next week to see if he actually makes a change or not.
Yep. Moving on.
Yeah.
I believe we got the most lopsided game of the week. Richie versus Special K. In our post-draft analysis, I think we all agreed that Richie had one of the strongest drafts and Special K had one of the worst drafts. So it's no surprise that Richie is projected to win by the most, and I am definitely choosing Richie to win.
Yep. That's just a sweep. We all chose Richie. Don't really even probably need to go through the teams really, but yeah, Richie is the highest projected score this week. They are the matchup itself is the highest differential, but not by much. But yeah, Richie's team is definitely the better one.
Yeah.
All right, so that leads us to what? Do you have Bill versus Harris or Nielsen versus me?
I got Bill versus Harris, and I'm gonna shock the world on this one. I'm choosing Harris. Damn the projections. If I'm just looking at everything line by line, and once you get past Josh Allen and Derrick Henry for Bill, I really don't like his team very much at all. I think that Matt's team is way more balanced, and my gut instinct tells me that Matt's going to win. So I'm choosing Harris.
Yeah, so no surprise, Harris chose Harris. Maybe in a surprise, I also chose Harris.
Ooh, we all went against the projection.
Yeah, I think for me, one of it is that a lot of his players have questionable tags. I think they're all playing. It's not really a big deal. The
Right.
other one is a lot of them are playing in what looks to be projected as rain. So I don't know how that affects it. Not to mention some of the key players are also a Thursday night game, which I have in my memory. I don't know if it's actually accurate that Thursday night games just aren't as score heavy as most other games. Like they always seem like the boring game of the week.
I think once you get into the season, yeah, but I mean, this is first game of the season. I think we could probably see some fireworks in this one.
It should be. I mean, it's the Rams versus Buffalo, so you're hoping for a shootout.
Yeah,
But they could also both be decent defenses and kind of hold each other down.
yeah. Well, we shall see. All right, moving on to the last game of the week. Why don't you start us off on this one since it involves you?
All right. Well, I will throw out the fact that Harris shows me just because that's the easy one. There's no explanation there. I looked at the teams and unfortunately decided to choose the guy I'm playing against, and not just out of habit of last year where I always chose against myself, so it was winning either way kind of rule, like a half win, half loss.
Right.
But unfortunately, because I drafted probably a few rookies, one at least early, right? I got Pierce early to make sure I got Pierce. And right now I don't even have him in my starting lineup because of projections, and just that might change, but because it feels really dumb to take him in the 4th round and not start him. But yeah, I chose Nielsen. It's also the second widest margin projection difference by sleeper, so it's not looking good for me anyway.
And who did Harris do?
Harris chose me.
Yeah, I'm going with you as well. I think that he's top heavy with Mahomes and Barkley. Mike Evans is real good, but other than that, I'm not a big believer in his squad, especially for you. If Trey Lance hits against a trash Chicago team, that's going to be a big boost for you in points. And
Right.
The way everything matches up, damn the projections. I think you're going to win. So
Yeah, I mean, I have some openings, so there. It's not like I'm just writing myself off, but I gotta choose somebody. So right now I'm going with the team favored, but gotta hope my team does something. And a lot of my guys are projected lower than what I'm hoping for. That's why some of these are kind of like bust candidate, or not bust, but boomer bust candidates, right? Like we're hoping they do a lot more than projected.
Well, I mean, it's just week one also, but a lot of the way the projections for certain guys will be changing dramatically after this week one. A lot of stuff is based on what players have done in the past, but this week one it'll show, are the older guys washed, or do they still have a little left in the tank? Are the young guys coming out and are just going to fire on all cylinders and take the league by storm? We are yet to see, but that'll be interesting to see how things change after week one's over. You had
I had
a
an idea.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
have a great idea. Why don't you tell the people?
So since some of you do actually listen or watch or whatever you do with this thing, that you can at least give us feedback in person, but not in text for some reason. Since this is like a core part of our show, a good way I figured to get involved is, and I will count this as a bet, you choose which one of us you think will have the best results on this pick'em. And if you're right, you don't have to drink. And if you are wrong, then you do a shot or a chug. I mean, it's not much of a bet, but at least to get some interaction with us. And if we, the fun thing is I track this for us as a single bet, and we are risking up to 6 drinks on a single bet. So
Right.
it does help us for the year, but it's not nearly as much as most bets. So League, why don't you jump in with us? Pick which one of us you want, you think is going to have the better results. And to help you with that, I will quickly go over our choices. So Harris is choosing myself, Chewy, to win over Nielsen, Gary to beat Andy, Spear to beat Corey, Carver to beat Rashawn, Richie to beat Chris, and Harris to beat Bill. Carver has chosen myself, Chewy, to beat Nielsen, Gary to win over Andy, Corey over Spear, Carver over Rashawn, Richie over Chris, and Harris over Bill. And then I chose Nielsen to beat me, Gary to beat Andy, Corey to beat Spear, Carver to beat Rashawn, Richie to beat Chris, and Harris to beat Bill. So our last 3 picks are all the same. We all chose Carver, Richie, and Harris. It's the top 3 games that have any difference in them. So you're
Well, I
basically
mean,
choosing.
And it's not going to
Chewy.
be, there's not going to be a huge variance, but at least none of us chose the exact same teams.
Oh, actually, we all chose Gary too. So the only 2 games that there is any difference, and luckily it's a split. The Mats both chose me to win. I did not. And you and I chose Corey to win, and Harris did not. So that's what you're really picking there.
Right.
And it's 2. So shoot it in the betting channel so I can record it as a bet, and just tell me, just mention the video and that you're choosing one of us, and I'll mark it down. Battle Overload has spoken.
Right on. All right, guys. Well, maybe it's because it's week 1. Maybe it's because we've covered a bunch of stuff already. Maybe it's because Harris isn't here, just blabbing away.
I know.
But we are done with one of our shortest episodes ever. No part 2. So enjoy not having to listen to us ramble on anymore.
Right.
Enjoy the week 1 of football. Make your bets.
Use this extra time use this extra time to submit card bets. Now that you're not watching 2 hours of us, you got an hour to come up with ideas.
Exactly. And let's have lots and lots of trash talk in the WhatsApp. All right, guys. Well, Chewy, thanks for joining me as always, and have a good night, everybody.
Have a good one, guys.